So today I'm going to show you how to make a really nice clearing spray. Now, if you're a therapist or you work with spiritual modalities, there may be times where you need to clear the frequency and lift a room when you've had a client and during a session who has released a lot of energy or density, whatever, during a healing session with you. So for this purpose, I'm going to show you how to make a very beautiful aromatherapy room clearing spray. So you can use it in your practice and you can use it around the house when you want to give a room a lift. And we're using essential oils. We're using therapeutic grade essential oils for this purpose. Now the ingredients that you need for this are really very simple. We need some distilled water. I have distilled water. And I need essential oils. And here I've chosen, we're going to use 2 essential oils in this particular spray. Why am I using distilled water? I'm using distilled water because tap water contains bacteria. And if I've got a product that is going to be sitting around in the house for maybe 3 weeks, then I want to make sure that I can maintain the shelf life of my product for as long as possible. So I'm using distilled water. I'm also using a spray bottle, which I bought on the internet, and the spray bottle has one of these mechanisms in it. And it also has a little glass bead in it, which means that whenever I shake it, the glass bead is mixing the ingredients inside the bottle. I'm also going to use a beaker, a measuring beaker. Now this measuring beaker again is something I bought on the internet, and it has milliliters marked up the side of it so that I can see exactly what I'm putting into my bottle. Now the reason I do this is because when we're working with essential oils, it's really important to get your ratios of liquid to essential oil correct. Some people have an adverse reaction to essential oils, and that's why we must be very careful when we're mixing products using essential oils that we get the right balance between the oil and the carrier liquid. So in this case, I'm going to measure into my bottle. I'm going to measure 90 milliliters of distilled water. All my products, by the way, all the things that I'm using have been sterilised before use for the same reason that we want to maintain the shelf life of the product and we don't want any bacteria getting into our sprays. So I have a 100 milliliter bottle here. I've got my measuring jug here and I'm going to pour about 90 milliliters of distilled water into my bottle so that I've then got room to add my essential oils. So here we go into the bottle. And it goes, and it goes, and it goes, and it goes. Cool. So next I'm going to add my essential oils. Now why am I using the essential oils that I've chosen? So I'm going to show you first of all. I'm using rose oil. Now rose oil is quite expensive. This particular brand, which I like, is made by Tutor. And rose oil is an antidepressant. It helps with inflammation. It's used for treating wounds. It protects against viruses. It's an aphrodisiac. It boosts libido. Just see my husband's eyebrows raised there. It's good for skincare. And it's also supposed to be good for treating wrinkles as well because it's an astringent, so it tightens the skin. So I'll let you know how that goes. It also is really good because it purifies the blood and helps for those removals and neutralization of toxins that we pick up so much from just living in our everyday life. So I've got 100 milliliters of product. I'm making a spray for my house. So in my house, we have all adults in the house. And so when I add my essential oil, I'm working out that I need for 100 milliliters of product, I need 40 drops of essential oils. So for every 5 milliliters of a liquid carrier, whether that's an oil you're using for a massage or whether it's the distilled water that you're using for a spray, for For every 5 millilitres, I can use 2 drops of essential oil. It doesn't sound like a lot, but essential oils are very powerful and we have to be careful how we use them. So if I was using the spray in a house where there was an old-aged pensioner or a child, then I would be only using 1 drop of essential oil per 5 millilitres of product. So in this, because I'm using 2 different sorts of essential oil, I'm going to put in 20 drops of essential oil and 20 drops of my jasmine oil. So I'm just going to add the rose oil. And again, my cap is kept on my essential oil so that it doesn't dry out. So I'm counting when I'm doing it. Drop, 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 drop. 19, 20. Always put the cap back on your essential oils because they have a high volatility. And that means in English that they evaporate very quickly. My next oil I'm going to use is jasmine. Now the combination of jasmine and rose is really beautiful. It's one of my favourite combinations. And the company that's made this jasmine oil that I like to use is called Naissance. Oddly enough, both of these companies have French names. Now jasmine is a really interesting flower. It actually only flowers at night. So when they come to pick the flowers to make the essential oils, they pick them when they're at their most ripe and open. So there will be fields where at night time people will be picking the jasmine so that they can harvest it at its most ripe to be able to make the essential oil. So jasmine as an essential oil is said to relieve depression. It's one of the essential oils that actually stimulates the release of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter. It's said to work with the respiratory system, relieving coughs and colds. It's an antiseptic and a disinfectant. It also, again, is an aphrodisiac. Again, my husband's raised his eyebrows. It's said to fade scar marks, help with insomnia, and also, very interestingly, it helps with lactation for mothers that have given birth. It is also used in childbirth to promote childbirth and strengthen the contractions. Mind you, having given birth 5 times, I'm not particularly sure I'd want anything that would strengthen the contractions. I'm using jasmine, and I'm going to again put 20 drops into my 100 millilitre bottle. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Enormously simple. And again, I'm going to replace the top. So now I'm going to put my spray mechanism into my bottle. Note the bottle is a dark colour. The reason we use dark colour bottles, again, if the sunlight gets to the essential oils, it can cause it to evaporate. So we keep all essential oil products in dark glass bottles. So everything's there together. I'm going to mix it up. Very, very simple. And then I'm going to give it a spray, she says. Oh, it smells delicious. Okay. And last but not least, what I do with every essential oil, every aromatherapy product that I make is I label it. Then I know when it was made, and so I can keep an eye on things potentially going off. So it'll have a label on it. These are you can buy these again easily on the internet, sticky labels, you can write on them. Don't know if the camera can maybe zoom in there. Okay, and I've called it a clearing spray, and inside there is rose and jasmine. And I'm actually going to put the date that I've made it today so that I can be sure. So today is the cool. And I take my sticker off and pop it on the front of my bottle. And there we have a really nice clearing spray. So you can spray it in your bedroom before you go to sleep. It's one of the essential oils is in it, as I said before, help with insomnia, helps you relax. And you can also use it if you're working with clients where there's energy work going on and emotions, energy is being released while they're going through their sessions with you. And you can also use it as a general home air freshener spray. Thank you very much. All the ingredients are listed in the video description. See you again.